All right, appreciate it. I have it online, so
Okay.
I have it. It's like Edelweiss. It's kind of like Edelweiss, but it's more. Oh, those German mugs are great.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead and add that.
Anything else for you, sir?
No, that should be
That
good.
deal?
Yeah, that should be good.
No,
This is great. So it looks like an Edelweiss version, but with Denny's. These are pretty good too. Okay, I'm sorry. Looks like maybe 1970. All right, so in the 1960s, one of the old restaurants that first established was Edelweiss. It's one of the big 6 restaurants. So what happened was, it did have a fire, it burned down, but they reopened it. Now, the owner sold it eventually. The Albanians have it now. It's over there. But this is kind of the secondary one. And supposedly the wife was the one that opened this one, but I think they may have sold it again. but it's they got apple strudel. It's called Little Germany. So the Edelweiss one is down the way. That's the one Linda worked on. I got a little bit of footage of that. I met a piano player that worked with Lou Diamond Phillips in a musical called The King and I. He's a very, very shy guy, but he played piano, or he plays piano at Edelweiss. Has like a little station set up. I didn't even know they did delivery, but they actually did delivery at Little Germany. Here. Okay. Right off Silver Creek, where I'm located. There's supposed to be a Lake Worth monster around here somewhere. There's rumors. There's a musical made by Hip Pocket Theater called the Lake Worth Monster, based on Lake Worth, some kind of fictional monster that's supposed to exist out there. Yeah, the whole musical. They did the whole, dun 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 dun. One of the bridges. Yeah, some of these bridges can be a little hairy. this is the bricks. Bathroom, a big thumbs up. It's actually a little cute bathroom. It's a place called Olivella. It's supposed to be the best pizza in town, but I don't really know. So we're gonna go with a thumbs up for cleanliness and cool photographs. A cool hotel photograph right here. And pizzeria, really cool pizzeria thing. So I'm thinking it's pretty cool. Warnings. It's like it's the best pizza in town. They got a little salad right here. According to a few magazines, it's the best pizza in Texas. So it's a little thing off Camp Bowie called Olivia's. They serve a ton of wine too. Watch out for these balloons. But I gotta put it in a little pizza case. So. All right, this pizza is going to be dropped off at your doorstep, and very soon. This is a college radio 88.7. I mean, I would consider Gary Oldman. I mean, I would for Gerald Oldman, but I mean, it'd be up for anyone really. You know, I think they're all genius. Everything from Robert De Niro, William Dafoe especially. God, guy's a great actor. We all know De Niro's genius. But, you know, I guess I pictured in my mind, and I have to be honest, I'm a writer, I'm also an actor, filmmaker, YouTuber, creator. I pictured in my mind Gary Oldman when I wrote it. I had to do that for organization. So when I wrote the thing, in my mind, I saw Gary Oldman playing Gerald Oldman III as the werewolf hunter. And I like the idea that he's from the UK and he's Britain, but you know, I know Gary Oldman is very busy, especially with Slow Horses, Slough House series, known as Slow Horses, which he's going for 2 more seasons, I believe. They signed on for 3. So Gary Oldman's already going to do that and everything. And I respect that. I love the show. I think it's marvelous. All the actors are genius. Everything's great. Don't change a thing. Other than the fact that I'd like to see it, I just don't have Apple TV because, well, I'm not a complete 100%, you know, billionaire yet. But you don't have to be to get Apple TV, but I do watch samples, you know, and I do a lot of research too. But anyway, regardless, you know, I'm not super picky, and you know, and a lot of times this goes into the casting director. The writer does that. I've read about it many times, and many screenwriters. I think Milius did it. John Milius did it. They all kind of think about somebody, or maybe someone they know, a person they met, maybe a movie star. And when I was trained back in the days of Hollywood, when I was there, Diane Salinger, she asked me to do those kinds of things so you can get a connection to a feeling of a person. You know, you think of a movie star, or you put them in your head. It's part of the game. So I was trained to kind of do that at times, and then also thinking of real people too. It's also based on a real person I know too. You know, it's a mixture. When I was thinking Rainy Love is based on a real person I know. So when I would write Rainy Love, I'd think of Linda. You know, like, what would Linda say, maybe? I changed it up a little bit because instead of saying, okay, dear, or okay, sweetie, sometimes I would change it to sweetheart. because I wanted to separate that line between reality and fiction for my own protection as a person. And that's why I love this whole werewolf idea. It's because, well, we don't know if the werewolf exists. We don't know. No one really knows. We'd like to think that we do. Just like we don't know for sure about aliens. My mom one time told me in the backyard in Fort Worth, she said, I believe in aliens. And then she said something else that I don't want to say, but I'm not going to say exactly what she said, but she had her little opinion about aliens, I think Bob Balaban was in Close Encounters. But, there's a movie, there's a book by a writer. I believe he's a Texas writer. And one of the characters in it's named Cole. And it's called Invasive Species. Now, this is not an adaptation or anything, but I did read Invasive Species probably about the time I was cooking up the idea of, let's try maybe an original werewolf screenplay. And Invasive Species was a little old book floating around, maybe on Apple Books, definitely on probably Amazon, and definitely most likely 100% on the other one, Kindle. And I took a gander at it and I started reading Invasive Species. This is interesting. It's a good little first section. I think I got the sample on it. And it might end up a movie too, But I like the idea of two things. I like its original screenplay. Now, I can easily turn this into a book if I need to by just taking the descriptions on the screenplay and turning that into a longer paragraph. And that could turn into an easy 300-page novella. I could probably do that over a summer. I know Quentin Tarantino is doing this kind of stuff. He did it for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino's like writing short stories and novellas and giving them to actors to help them along the way. And I think that's brilliant, for a screenwriter, filmmaker, and even an actor, because Quentin Tarantino's not that too bad of an actor. Okay? But what I mean is that you can do that, you don't have to just stick to screenplay format, although on set you probably would want to. So when you're on set, you probably want something that looks like a screenplay so everybody can be on the same page, But like if I threw myself as Grace into the picture, let's say I'll play Grace, then I would get the advance and I'd say, okay, give me 6 months, to get in a little bit of shape, or we can shoot it with him out of shape, and then give me 6 months, we come back and do the fight sequences. If Cooper took it on and wanted to do St. Patty the Great, and that could be for Wahlberg, that could be for Pitt, that could be for all the ones that would be in the room for an audition, even the other guy, big dude, or the other dude. Well, he's not big, but he's a big actor. Ryan Gosling too, I don't know. Some of them like werewolf movies. I know Cooper's already done horror because he did the Meat Train, which was a Clive Barker thing. So I know he's okay with that. He did that in his early stages of what he's doing. I know he's back to back. Everybody's their schedule's completely full. So I know if I waited, and all good things come to those who wait. And let's say we all waited on Gary Oldman, which if we were back in the day and we were doing something looking for Laurence Olivier, they would have to wait years to get a hold of Laurence Olivier, just like you have to on all of them. Laurence Olivier you can't because he's already passed away. Rest in peace, Laurence Olivier, Sir Laurence Olivier. But if Oldman signed on to Slough House for 2 more years, and I'm okay. I'm okay, and working on the script for another 2 years and putting it to the side and doing these little indie projects, and everything's fine. I'm okay. I mean, I don't have to do a werewolf movie, but I would like to. I think it's interesting. I just like the separation between reality and fiction, just like Peter Jackson does.
Watch out! I got a vehicle on shoulder ahead.
A lot of this idea from Peter Jackson. I didn't talk to him personally. I saw some interviews, and Peter Jackson was saying if you're a struggling filmmaker, or try a horror film, because it certainly will get people's attention. Look at this right here. It certainly will get people's attention, is what Peter Jackson had said. This goes with Guillermo. Probably it says the same, Guillermo, which, very rarely does a horror film win Best Picture, and Guillermo proved that it could in Shape of Water. So I'm getting these ideas from the big dogs. Guillermo's definitely the king of horror, and even a lot of other things. And so is Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's nothing to mess with Bad Brains, when he did Bad Brains starting off. And man, you're talking about struggle. That guy had a crappy film camera, a little bit of footage that would go on for maybe 30 seconds or so, and it went on for years, and he kept the film in his refrigerator so he could afford the money to develop it. Then once he got it developed, he put it all together and made this little, odd horror film, and that got people's attention because of what he had to go through in order to lift off his career, and not only that, but to become known as a great filmmaker. And then he did Heavenly Creatures with the one and only hot and the very beautiful, what is her name? Gosh, she hasn't done anything in a while. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she's English, but Peter Jackson used her in Heavenly Creature. Kate Winslet, thanks so much, appreciate that. Kate Winslet signed on with them in Heavenly Creatures, and they went through a lot to even get that done. Having to cast out of a school system and stuff like that, But you learn that these things kind of hang off a cliff, and you just keep going with it until finally the energy and power that you put into it succumbs, and everyone's on their knees going, we have to do this. You don't know if Gary Oldman's career led up to Bram Stoker's Dracula. You don't know if it did or didn't. But definitely it's going to be a topper of his resume. If Gary Oldman showed up in an audition, they're like, and your name again? And he just goes, Dracula. They would realize, oh, yes, it's that guy. He did that Bram Stoker Dracula movie. Yeah. Gary Oldman, yes. And he would get the part. We get it, but everyone loves Oldman. Of course the script is great because I thought of him. I pictured what he looked like in the back of a vehicle similar to this, the Uber driver turning the light on for a second, and then he asks, Scotch whiskey, and the Uber driver, going, what? That'll cost you extra, that kind of thing, right? But listen, the idea behind Grace, aka Werevlog, and I know people probably are laughing, but the idea is that he sincerely is looking for this werewolf. He really believes it exists. So when Close Encounters was released, people actually began to believe in aliens. It's kind of a Orson Welles move of Spielberg. I'm not really expecting people to actually go out there and really believe in werewolves. It's like making a movie about fairies, which I think would be cool too, and then people actually believe in fairies, But the idea is that the belief is that, it's the humanity of the person believing in something. That's the part of it that's great. There's a humanity in believing, right? And I think that's where it lies in Old Main's character. And it makes it kind of funny. Because we don't know what to believe, because in many parts of the movie, we only see the shadow of this thing. We don't know what it is, if we ever see it. It's actually green screen. No, I'm joking. It's not green screen, it's a real thing. But we don't know if we really ever see it, when it comes to monsters. But the idea is that, the belief in something, and then, of course, John Blacksmith, I think he's on the same level as Old Main the Third, Gerald's level of belief. That's why they both believe in it together, and they both go hunt this werewolf together in the same level of belief, right? So that's what makes them a fun team. And they're also from different generations, and they have crazy YouTube channels, and they're crazy about their YouTube. They're crazy YouTubers that go off on an adventure to find a werewolf.